Hey, what's up? This is Comic 95 the Savior, aka Ren, aka Comic 95, whatever you want to call me. This is going to be a very personal, awkward, and strange story slash video to tell you guys, but as the title says, or as the title kind of misleads you, this is my catfish story. So, yeah. I can't say that I was entirely, but I'm pretty sure that I was being catfished because the likelihood of it being otherwise is slim to none. But I'm great at going on and rambling, and the story will be long, as you can already tell. So, yeah, let's get started. I want to say about 2-3 years ago, I made an OKCupid account, and I didn't really have any hopes of meeting anybody serious from there. But I just wanted to see, who else was out there. I am not the best person when it comes to meeting people. So yeah, and I really was just looking for friends, people to play with online. And hey, for all I know, you watching this video right now, you may have met me online. I think that that's a great place, that and other websites as well, to meet people that you just want to casually hang out with, talk to as a friend. Nothing too serious. So, oh my gosh, this light's so bright. But sorry, and yes, you will hear, sorry, blah, 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 a lot. So if you're irritated with that, go ahead and leave. So I started talking to him after he messaged me. He messaged me, just say, oh, hi, whatever. I didn't think anything of it. I don't even think I replied. No, I didn't. I didn't reply instantly. I didn't really use OKCupid actively. I was, still a teenager. It's 17, 18, I think. 17 going on 18 or something like that. And so I just kind of brushed it off. I was busy doing other stuff, hanging out with other people, blah, 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 hanging out with my friends. And then months later, I got back on the app and I looked back at the message and saw that he had tried to message me recently. Recently for that time, about a month ago, I think. And he asked if I had, still remembered him. And I was thinking to myself, I am so stupid. Why did I ignore this guy? He's so cute. And I don't know what happened. Emotions just took over. I fell head over heels for this guy. I absolutely, loved him. Loved him. And I know that people bash online relationships all the time and say, oh, they're not real. You can't, like or love someone that you just met. Blah, blah, blah. I beg to differ. But I know that these feelings were definitely on the lustful side because I hadn't even met him. I know. But, really, there's no difference in meeting people in person. It's the same thing. You're essentially liking what you see. And the same thing goes for online. Sure, people don't necessarily look the same way that their pictures do, but I plan to meet him. So, let me also give some backstory on this guy I was talking to. He was Japanese. He lived in Japan. And I completely forgot that when I made my account that it said that I was living in Tokyo. Because at first I was thinking oh, that's strange. What's the likelihood of somebody that was Japanese from Japan messaging me? That's where I'm about to go. Stupid me. I had purposefully set my account to say that I was in Japan, even although I was not currently there. So that's why he had messaged me. But still, I was wow, this guy likes me? He thought that I was cute? But... Anyway, I just started becoming obsessed with him. I was waiting for him to message me back. You know how you are, girls. No matter how fast he would respond, I wanted him to message me back faster. Though I had every right to feel that way, he was a very slow texter. And it seems to be a very common thing there, especially when people don't like you. But like I said, I was not taking any of these hints, red flags, whatever. So... conversations that could have been had in a day took us several months without exaggeration. I could literally probably read every single message that he's ever sent me right now to you. And I could do it all in less than 10 minutes because it's just how little we've spoken to each other. And despite that, I still seriously like this guy. So we have been messaging each other for about, I want to say a year or 2 years it might have been. And I kept telling him, oh, I'm going to go to Japan here, or I'm going to go, this time, this day, whatever. And stuff kept happening. I wouldn't have enough money. I didn't have enough time. I couldn't get a visa, blah, blah, blah. And I was starting to get upset with myself because I knew in his mind, he was probably thinking, oh, this girl's a scammer. She's not real. It's too good to be true, just like how I was thinking of him. And, that's whatever. So I had thought to myself, I have to do something. I will get to Tokyo if it kills me. And sure enough, he was a businessman and he worked in finance. I don't know what exactly did he do, but he said that he was going on a business trip to New York. And I thought about it and I messaged him and I was like, hey, wait, you mind if I met you in New York? My cousin lives there and I've never been to New York, so this is a great reason to go. I have 2 reasons now. And he was really excited and basically said, yeah, of course, that's a great idea. And so we were planning to meet each other. I work retail. I do not make a lot of money. I had saved up my money. I had changed my mind several times about, whether I was going to go or not. I kept debating about it. And then, I just decided, hey, I have to do this. I have to go. I'm never going to go to Japan, but I can meet him here in America. Just a couple $100 to get to New York. I live in Chicago, so I figured, hey, why not? So, I had to borrow money from my mom. I had to use my previous paycheck. I returned clothing that I bought, everything from Banana Republic to get back money. I returned my sewing machine that I bought not too long ago. I had did anything that I could to add up some more money so that I would have enough to meet this guy. Oh, and let's give this guy a name. We're gonna call him, we'll go with Yuji. So, Yuji, he basically, told me, oh, where are you gonna be staying at? And I wasn't sure at the moment. I had no idea. I was completely clueless. I had never been on a plane, never traveled alone. I was just completely lost. And this was in December of last year. So I had to do a whole bunch of research, and I knew that part of him was probably thinking oh, once again, this girl isn't real. How does she not know this? This is her country, so and so. I might also add that he was bilingual, and we had spoken on the phone before, so it's not like this guy was imaginary or something, but we'd only talked for literally a brief minute, and he did not sound like how I expected. He had kind of an Aussie accent, which I love Australian people, but he had an Australian accent to me. So, what was I about to say? So yeah, I kind of felt questionable towards it, but then I was well, Australia is really close to Japan. Maybe he learned how to speak English from there. But he never told me anything about having gone to Australia, just talked about America. So, anyway, I got everything together last minute. I had my mom take me, to a bus, which took me to the airport. Got to the airport, I was so happy. I did not have a cell phone. All I had was a tablet with me. I had bought Christmas gifts for him. I got him a tie, a snowman, hot cocoa set. I knit him a scarf. What else did I get? I bought him some Garrett's popcorn at the airport. And I got him, it was a wine bottle of Mars Celebration candy, which was so cute. And I knew he liked to drink. So I figured that would be a cute little gift to get him. And I had everything together so that I could wrap it up once I got there, so it wouldn't take up too much space in my luggage. I did not have a formal suitcase at the moment, so I only had a small bag to take with me that was a travel bag, but it was more like a carry-on bag, but I used that as my suitcase. And if I knew what I knew now, I would have probably taken it as a carry-on instead of having it in checked baggage. But then again, it did have some stuff that wouldn't have been suitable to carry on. So anyway, back on subject. Yeah, I was super happy. I was really happy once I got there, and I couldn't wait to message him, but because I didn't have a cell phone, I had to wait till I had Wi-Fi. And once I got to my place, I was staying at a hostel. Everything started to come together. I was able to message him. But let me backtrack a little bit. So I get off the plane, and I arrive at LaGuardia. And once I was getting ready to go take my taxi, everything seemed totally cool until I got ready to pay. When I arrived at my destination, I was staying at a hostel in New York, and I did not have enough money on my card, apparently. I tried to charge it several times. It would not work. So I started to freak out, and I was thinking oh my God, I have to be here for 3 days. I have no money. My direct deposit didn't go through how I had expected. It had been coming through an extra day earlier for the past 2 paychecks, And conveniently, the day that I choose to take my trip, it was apparently going to come in tomorrow. And I was literally, I had to call off work the day that I left because like this was such a last minute thing to do because I changed my mind so many times about whether or not I was going to go. And then I was really only going to have one full day in New York because the next day I would be leaving to, go back to Chicago. And I was arriving there in the evening of the first day. And I got to my place later than I expected. But anyway, sorry if I scared you. He did not scam me or take my money or anything. But I just thought about that as I was talking. What did happen is like I said, I didn't have the money I expected to have. So after I paid for the taxi, after scrounging up enough change to give him cash for it, I couldn't give the guy a tip. And then when I got to my hostel, I didn't have enough money to pay for the hostel either. So I literally freaked out. I had to use the Wi-Fi at the hostel to call my mother and ask her if she could pay for, the fee online. Thank God she was able to. And then when I got to my room, I was just super happy. I had, called my brother, told him, oh my God, New York is so beautiful. I love everything. It's so noisy here. It's great. I'm inside, but it sounds like I'm outside. Like everything was just, I was still just super happy. I was so glad. So glad to be here. Excuse me. So yeah. But even despite all of that stuff, the biggest thing that really made everything go downhill. I was texting Yuji, and he basically, wanted to meet up with me like how we had planned. And he ended up being later than what he expected, and he told me that he was going to be with his boss, blah, 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 gave me all these little stories about what was going on, asked if I would be okay with it. I told him, oh yeah, that's fine, we can hang out late at night, cool. And so, I didn't let him know that I was by myself. In fact, I lied and I told him that I was with my cousin and a friend. Even although I had traveled alone, I was not with a friend. I ended up not even telling my cousin that I was going to be there because I don't even know if she was still living there by then. So yeah. Excuse me. So after all of that stuff got handled, I was going through my bags and I was getting everything together for him. I was packaging up the gifts that I got, wrapping them. I was just super happy. And he wanted to meet me at a bar. Now, mind you, I was 19 years old at the moment, and I was not old enough to go to a bar. Though I wasn't sure if they would let me in or just, turn me away or whatever. I didn't want to deal with the embarrassment. I didn't know where it was that he wanted to meet me at because I had never been to New York before. So I didn't want to take any chances and end up, getting lost. Especially since I did not have a cell phone. I had never met this guy. I was just using common sense and caution, like any smart person would do. But he was not too thrilled with that. He basically came up with all these things to make me meet up with him anyway, such as saying I'll pay for your taxi, don't worry about it, don't worry about, the food, drinks, I got you, blah, blah, blah. And I just kept thinking to myself, oh my God, what if he doesn't like me? What if this does not turn out the way that I wanted it to? And I had to have all of those things, in mind, because it can happen. So I decided, no, I can't go. I told him that I don't drink. I didn't mention I wasn't old enough to drink, although he should have known that because my OKCupid profile was very clear about my age. It told my age on there, so that's whatever. I even told him how old I was. So I kind of figured, maybe he doesn't know because he's not Japanese. But he studied here before. He's gone here several times for business trips. So I figured he should be aware. And I'm pretty sure that he gets carded all the time because he's my age. Very close to it. Kinda. He's a little bit older than me. But anyway, so after all of that got resolved, he decided to stop messaging me for a little while, and then he finally texted me back and told me that he didn't understand me, blah blah blah. And I explained to him that hey, my card's having problems. I am in New York, believe it or not, but I cannot meet you there. Hey, can you come here? We can go for a walk. You can come inside. We could chill out in the lounge. Blah blah blah. He was not interested in that at all whatsoever. And part of me started to think several different things. I was is he ashamed to be seen with me or around me? I don't know what was going through his mind, why he didn't want to go hang out with me, neither inside the hotel or outside. And then I started thinking, like, okay, look at this. Well, I am a girl, but from a girl's perspective, like, it might seem like I'm trying to have sex with him or something. Like, maybe he thought that that was the case. And so I was like, okay, well, I didn't mention walk outside, though, so what's the excuse for that? And sure enough, he was complaining about, oh, it's cold, I don't want to walk outside, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, like, you sound like a fucking bitch. Like, that seems something that I would be saying, not you. And, of course, it just made him mad. And so, like, he just shut off, and I don't even remember what our last words were to each other, but we just stopped talking after that. And I was so angry that I had spent so much money, spent so much time on those gifts, that I didn't have enough money, and so much stuff was going on. I was just furious. And I decided, you know what? I am not wasting and spending all this money just to lose it. I am going to take advantage of the fact that I'm here, and I'm going to go out for a walk. And while I was out on that walk, I got lost, but that's another story. I eventually made my way back, obviously, which is why I'm here. But the next day, I offered, to like, hey, let's hang out again. Let me know when or where you can meet me. I leave, the next day on, I think, it was Thursday. Yeah, I leave like Thursday or whatever day I said. And yeah, let's meet up. Even if it's just to drop off the gift. I just want to give you the gift that I got you. That's it, and go. You don't have to talk to me. Don't have to spend no time together. Just let me know where I can meet you so I can drop this off to you. I have money. I can get my own ride. Blah, blah, blah. He did not respond. I went and did everything by myself. I was so miserable. It was so embarrassing. Like, I literally got in my feelings. Like, I started to realize, like, wow, this is what my life is going to be like if I don't get another boyfriend. And I know, like, I'm so dramatic, but whatever. I'm just telling you how I feel. I was, sorry. I went out to eat at this Japanese restaurant, and which I'd never been to a Japanese restaurant before. It was really good. I completely embarrassed myself. I didn't know what anything was. I forgot everything I thought I knew. I'm horrible at eating with chopsticks, but I'm not that bad. I cannot figure out how to hold them. I didn't know whether I should be using the spoon in the ramen to eat the soup or not, so I looked stupid with that too. I was their last customer. I gave my waiter a very nice tip because he was super, super nice. I went on a little cruise to the Statue of Liberty. I did very little, to be honest, while it sounded like I just named a lot of stuff. But it was just so lonely. Like, the whole time I was there, I kept thinking, like, oh, like, I wish I was with at least a friend. Everybody was in a relationship. Everybody, was coupled up. And here I am, just by myself. And that just made everything even worse. Because all I could do was think, this is all my fault. He probably thinks that I'm scamming him. And I just kept blaming everything on myself. Because, you can't blame him. First of all, it takes me forever to reply back to him to begin with. I kept telling him I was going to Japan, never went. Then I said that I was in New York, and even in New York, I have like 1,000,001 excuses for why I couldn't hang out, blah, blah, blah. Everything's just excuse with me. So, I could see things from his perspective, and I didn't blame him. I blamed myself. But part of me was also still mad at him, because I was kind of like, well, if I were you, I would do, whatever. You're the guy. Like, normally it would be the guy, like, trying to beg and put reason into a woman. Like, hey, like, let's go for a walk. Let's do whatever. Maybe, your girlfriend might be like, oh, I don't want to do that. Feel like she's too good for it. And sorry for the sexist comment, but whatever. Just being real here. So, yeah, that was that. Eventually, though, of course, after I get home conveniently, he then messages me and asks if we can meet up, tells me that he's free. And I'm like, didn't I tell you that I was taking a plane home? So then that kind of made me suspicious of him again. Like, okay, like, why would you wait until I get home? Conveniently right after I get home. And then you message me and suggest that, we hang out or that I drop it off. So that kind of made me upset and made me question him. But we started talking again, and he was responding faster than usual. But, and mind you, fast for him is getting a reply within a day. So, and mind you, he's the one who initiated this whole little relationship that we had going on. And we weren't dating or anything. He knew that I liked him. He alluded that he liked me. I have no idea what he ever felt towards me, if anything at all. But it was a very confusing and complicated little relationship / thing that we had going on. So, I really couldn't even explain that to you if you asked me to. Excuse me. But it was just so aggravating. It was humiliating, really. Because I was like, I don't know what to think of you. I don't know what you think of me. I'm just so confused right now. And you are not helping me. So that's that. Um, oh, of course, let's finish the story. So he eventually stopped messaging me, and I kept telling myself, okay, you know what? If he's not going to reply, whatever, get over him sharing, you don't need him, blah, blah, blah. But I just couldn't. I seriously like this guy. And I kept thinking about him for like a whole year, like almost all the way up until now. I just recently got over him, might add, like literally a couple of months ago. And that's because this is where the story wraps up. So, I was back on OKCupid again because he had stopped messaging me online. And I asked him, like, hey, I told him I was going to, I asked him if he was going to New York again. And he said, yeah. And it was going to be around the same time. He didn't have the exact dates. And I had done this before, but for some reason I decided, why doesn't this guy have more pictures up? And I was really being a hypocrite because I only have one up on my profile too. But I just didn't feel like he was real. He seemed too good to be true. And I told my family about him and whatnot. And while they probably were trying to be nice, I think they felt the same way too. Like, why does this guy like you? Some random black girl out of all the people that he could have. Why would he choose you? And I kept questioning that to myself too. I was like, why did he choose me? There is nothing really special about me. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, fish for compliments, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just being serious. I'm a very average looking person. I could think of 1,000,001 flaws that I have. And yeah, with all of those things said and done, I did kind of feel like maybe this guy is too good to be true. And it tore me apart. And I decided maybe I should spend more time looking into him. So I did just that. He told me his name. He wouldn't give me any information about his credentials. Like, I asked him where he went to school. He told me he'd tell me, once I meet him in person, blah, blah, blah. And just went on. And I was okay with that. I was like, all right, fine. I can understand. I don't think I want people to know what college I go to either, maybe. But I don't know. I just took it as something that made sense, which I normally am a secretive person, but I didn't think anything of the fact that he was. Not too much of it. It was within reason. Him being secretive was reasonable to me for the stuff that it was. So, after all of that, I decided that maybe I should do my own research on this guy and go FBI style, start investigating. And I took it upon myself to start searching, by image. And I had heard of it before, but I'd never really done it. And sure enough, it was very difficult to do. Eventually, I got a picture. I decided to go directly to his profile, take his picture, and search for it. And sure enough, I was beyond shocked. I was blown away. This guy was not who he said he was. He was not Japanese. He was from Myanmar. And he was a foreign model, not even living in Japan. Nonetheless, this guy was hot, and the pictures that I found made him even cuter. And I felt so stupid. And I was so jealous at the same time because I was like, oh my god, this is a real guy though. But he's not mine, and he's never going to be. And then, like, everything started to sink in. Like, Sharon, you are so stupid. Like, why? Why did you, like, let this happen? And I couldn't even, like, really give an excuse for myself because I did tell myself several times that something didn't seem right about this. But I went through with it anyway. And I guess I had to learn my lesson the hard way. He was not who he said he was. So I, like, asked him myself out, like, are you a model? And he instantly got upset. And he pretty much tried to accuse me of being a gold digger and told me, like, why go after ex models? Why not go after, people who are still modeling? And I'm thinking to myself, like, do you really think that I'm that stupid that I'm still buying this? So I was so angry, I had, like, blocked him and just had to stay off of OKCupid for a while because I was not ready for that. It literally blew me away. I felt so stupid. But I guess it was a learning experience in a sense. So, yeah, that's that. I'll never really have closure to it because he never denied it. He kept pretending to be that guy. And sure, it's possible, and I always think that somewhere in the back of my mind, but I highly doubt it. The fact that he doesn't update his profile, the fact that he was even willing to speak to me if he's really this, I won't say this guy was really well known, but he has a good following. And for him to be as attractive as he was, and whatnot, why would he choose me? He has all these girls he could choose from that look way better than me. I look like a piece of dirt. Why pick me when you can have any of these girls that are just chasing and falling all over you? It would be like Justin Bieber picking me in a sea full of, all kinds of women. Why? So that was a big mistake that I made. Lesson learned. I was definitely catfished, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that's my long ranty story. I essentially met this guy online. I was stupid to let this go on for years, pursue him, chase him, dream about him, blah, blah, blah. And at the end, I only got my own little heart broken. And I've had to make a conscious effort to not message this guy or anything else. And to be honest, part of me liked this guy so much that I would have still dated him even if he looked nothing like that photo of that guy that I saw. Because I liked him. I really liked his personality, if you will, even if that wasn't really his personality. I guess I fell in love with the thought of what he could have been, or the thought of what I wanted him to be. So, a very weird and interesting thing, but nonetheless, it was true, and my feelings were as real can possibly be. They may have been dumb feelings, but like I said, it's a lesson learned. So, for the meantime, I am still single. And I guess that's it. My story is wrapped up. Thank you so much for watching this long, ranty storytime video. I'm Comic95, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.